Welcome back. Today I wanted to do a quick build video for the Shadow Impale Demon Hunter. So this build revolves around the 6-piece bonus from the Shadow's Mantle set. And it's actually a very popular build, so today we're just going to cover it real quick. But more importantly, what I'm going to show you guys today is some progression. I'm going to do a little push just to prove to you guys that this build is probably the number one easiest build to not only gear for, in my opinion, but also to push with solo and in the group. So if you're in the group, your job is the Rift Guardian killer, and if you're solo, I'm going to give you guys a couple tips and tricks to kind of help you guys out in solo progression, because I see a lot of people playing the build wrong. You know, I was doing it for a while myself, so I'm just going to give you guys a couple quick tips as well and show you guys how to progress further. I cleared a 92 solo the other day with this build, so I hope you guys enjoy. Let's go over the gear and everything real quick. Okay, so again, it just revolves around the 6-piece Shadows set. So if we look down here, our 2 set says, while equipped with a melee weapon, your damage is increased by 1200%. Which is great because this build revolves around a melee weapon or a dagger, Carlay's point. The 4th set is Shadow Power gains the effect of every rune and lasts forever. So that's great. That'll give us some toughness. And the 6-piece set, Impale deals additional 40,000% weapon damage to the first enemy hit. Okay, so this is our main damage source right here, is going to be Impale. Okay. Also, guys, I want to add real quick, like that, you know, there's different variants to this build. People use different skills. I'm just showing you guys what works for me, what I progressed with, and everything. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so 6-piece Shadow set. So you got the helm, chest, shoulders, gloves. We'll start real quick with the specs. On your helm, you're going to want Impale damage, critical hit chance, and dexterity. You know, vitality would be good here, I guess, but you know, it's kind of, like I say, everything is negotiable. You can pretty much do it. You don't have to have the Impale damage here. Here you want, you know, vitality. As you can see, I got the 3 diamonds in the chest for extra resistance. That's a must, not negotiable right there. We get plenty of armor from our all our dexterity that we get. So, and you just get that as you paragon and by augmenting your ancients. Right here, the number one thing that I just want to point out to you guys is you do want cooldown on a couple pieces of gear. You want a total of about 36.7, I believe, cooldown in total, which I don't have, but we're going to cover all this here in just a second. But you know, the only thing that I would really, you know, say to get here on your shoulders is try to make sure you get cooldown. Everything else is negotiable. Same for the gloves, you know, everything's kind of negotiable. Me personally, the number one thing that I think is not negotiable is you want attack speed and critical hit chance. You really want attack speed, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, if you can get that. And add dexterity with your Chaldean's Despair, because you want cooldown on your gloves as well. Or you could do without the cooldown. It's just kind of up to you there. Now this piece, not negotiable. These are the stats that you're going to want. As you can see, I got a primal here, which was great. But you know, the number one thing you want to keep in mind when using the weapon is you want your Impale to return 15 hatred, so that we're not resource thirsty. And you definitely need the attack speed on there. Okay, so everything else kind of negotiable. The Chain of Shadows. This is a must for this build. It says after using Impale, Vault costs no resource for 2 seconds, which is great. So basically we throw a knife right here and we just vault. See, no there it goes. It costs no discipline for 2 seconds, so that's nice. We get a lot of mobility with this build. Okay, then you got your Shadows pants, Shadows boots, everything here, you know, kind of negotiable. I got Impale damage here and on my helmet. You know, you definitely want extra Impale damage. You want to, wherever you can squeeze it in. You do not need any movement speed. Why? Because since we get the Shadow Power lasts forever, one of the things that you get with Shadow Power is you get 30% increased movement speed. On our rings, this one, not negotiable. You want the Convention of Elements, and as you can see here, I don't even have an Ancient, some of my pieces aren't ancient. So just remember that, guys. You know, I cleared 92 with this, and not all my pieces are ancient. Now all my ancient pieces are augmented, but regardless of that, you know, I mean, not all pieces are ancient. So and then of course for the amulet and the ring, we're going to do the endless walk set, Traveler's Pledge, Compass Rose, roll off that movement speed, and squeeze in attack speed, critical hit chance, critical hit damage on that ring right there. I accidentally got life. I really need to roll this ring, so but that's the stats that you're going to want on that. Holy Point Shot. Now this is a must for this build. It's one of the only, and I believe it is the only quiver that also rolls with elemental damage. So this build revolves around lightning. So we got the lightning skill damage. You really want 20% right there. I did not get it. And me personally, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of information. I was having a lot of trouble with survivability, so I got the vitality roll on this one. But you could, if you want, you could go for impale damage here as well and go full on glass cannon. But good luck with that, because you will die. But anyways, the next piece, strong arm bracers. This one's negotiable. Another good one here is going to be APD's Ancient Parthen Defenders. You want your lightning skill damage right there, critical hit chance, you know, just basic stuff. And then another reason the Parthens, if you're dying, switch out to Parthens. But you know, for that higher push, for the more damage output, you're going to want strong arms. Okay, so I believe that covers most of the gear. I know I didn't really cover the specs too well with this video, but you know, honestly guys, a lot of this stuff is you can play around with. Okay, the number one thing here is you want attack speed wherever you can get it. This build revolves heavily on attack speed. You want that attack speed, so just keep that in mind, guys. But let's cover the skills real quick. First we'll go over what we got in the cube. So in the cube we got Dawn. Reduce the cooldown of Vengeance by 65%. This is absolutely imperative. Without this, you will die. I mean, you have to have Vengeance up at all times. Okay, and in order to keep Vengeance up at all times, you want the Dawn in the cube, and like I said, I think it's 36.7 cooldown reduction in total, and I'll show you guys that here in just a second. So the next piece is going to be the Aquila Cuirass. While above 90% primary resource, all damage taken is reduced by 50%. Guys, we're going to be able to stay at above 90% resource, because when we throw Impale, even though as you can see it kind of drains us, when you hit an enemy, and I will show you guys this here in just a minute, it's going to return hatred to us. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And then the last thing in the cube, not negotiable, is Elusive Ring. After casting Shadow Power, Smokescreen, or Vault, take 60% reduced damage for 8 seconds. So if you're kind of putting everything together here, just from what we've seen, you see that we are kind of tanky with this build, which is great. Just keep vaulting around, throw a knife, vault around, and you will be a-okay. Okay. So let's go over skills real quick. Impale, Ricochet. The knife ricochets to 2 additional nearby enemies within 20 yards. They fixed this as of last patch. They fixed this to where now Impale gets the 6-piece buff on those ricochet knives as well. Before it was only the first one, but now it's all the knives. So you definitely want Ricochet right there. The next skill, and this one's negotiable, is Marked for Death. A lot of people also run Fan of Knives, Bladed Armor right here. Me personally, and what I'm going to tell you guys for higher progression, you've got to switch over to Valley of Death. Marked for Death. And I use Valley of Death because I actually think that this is an additive 15% on top of that other 15%, but I could be wrong about that. Another popular one here is Contagion, but I use Valley of Death. I really do think it's additive. After doing some testing, it seems like I do way more damage with Valley than I do Contagion, so just keep that in mind. The next one, we want Companion, the Wolf Companion. The only reason we're using this is for that extra 15% increased damage. So basically, when you get into the Rift Guardian kill or you come upon some elites, you want to whittle their health down, you pop that Companion and get that extra damage buff. The next one's going to be Vault Rattling Roll. We use Rattling Roll so we can knock the enemies back and proc our Strong Arm Bracers or our Ancient Parthian Defenders, okay? And even though it's going to drain your discipline, remember, since we have the Chain of Shadows, we can just throw a knife and we don't have to worry about becoming discipline thirsty either. The next one, and this one it doesn't matter what rune you take because we get all of the runes. So we got Shadow Power. I just chose Blood Moon. One thing I want to tell you guys is no matter what you pick, the only thing is like it's going to change the background effect. See, Gloom gives it like a darkish purple, I believe, or green effect. So it gives you kind of like a pair of wings, free set of wings. So whatever you want to choose, they all do different effects. Let's see what this one does. This one's purple. See, they just change effects. You get all of them, so it doesn't matter. The next one that's not negotiable is Vengeance Dark Heart. This is going to give us a little extra damage buff as well, plus reduced damage taken. So again, as you can see, we're getting pretty tanky with all the abilities that we have here, and since we get all the runes from Shadow Power, you know, there's another one, reduced more damage. You know, we get insane damage reduction on this build, okay? So anyway, so Vengeance Dark Heart, not negotiable, gotta have that. Excuse me. And our passives. So our passives, we want Awareness. That's just your cheat death. Now you don't have to have this one, but you know, me personally, I feel like it's a good idea to have this one. The next one, Numbing Traps. Now I've ran it with Single Out as well. Single Out is good against the Rift Guardian, but to be honest with you, you're going to find yourself dying without Numbing Traps. So that's just my opinion. The next one, Ambush. This one I feel like is a must because you deal an insane 40% additional damage to enemies above 75% health. So we're just able to riddle their health down very quickly. It's awesome. So, and this build does a lot, and I mean a lot, insane amount of damage. So, and the next one, Call of the Week, increased damage against slowed or chilled enemies by 20%. And since one of the runes here on our Shadow Power is going to be slowing enemies, our Bane of the Trapped is going to be slowing enemies. This is a close range build, so you also get an extra 20% damage from that as well, so that's great. So cover the gems real quick. Gems, I'm running Bane of the Powerful, Bane of the Trapped, and Gogok of Swiftness. Now the only reason that I'm running Gogok of Swiftness isn't because, well, my cooldown is lower than 36.7. I'll show you guys. So I mean, I'm running it partially because of that, but mostly because of that increased attack speed. If you read down here, Gogok, you know, you get your effect stack. It says gain swiftness with every attack, increasing your attack speed by 1%, your dodge by 1.34 because I have it at 84. For 4 seconds, this effect stacks up to 15 times. So I just wanted the attack speed with that. And you also gain the cooldown reduction, which is nice, but I really wanted it for the attack speed. This build, again, very heavily reliant on attack speeds. That's why I'm running Gogok. But another best in slot here for just a super insanely quick Rift Guardian kill would be Bane of the Stricken. And you know, if you find yourself dying a lot, I guess you could throw in Esoteric Alteration as well. So just, you know, play with that one's kind of negotiable, but you definitely want Bane of the Trapped and Bane of the Powerful, because you don't want to be spending too much time on elites. So so we covered everything in the cube. We covered all the skills. I want to show you guys a quick 88 real quick, okay? So just to kind of show you guys that this can push. Now, I know that I'm Paragon, you know, 968, and I've got some augments, but what I want you guys to keep in mind is that this build is the easiest to push with solo. I promise you. You're going to go up in there, you're just going to start throwing your knives at people, and they're just going to die, and it's just going to be insane. And I was having a lot of trouble, guys, pushing solo with all the other classes. Even with the Crusader, I was dying all the time. With the Hammerden, you know, I was having a lot of trouble with the Witch Doctor. This right here, this is going to get you to where you want to be, get you some extra Paragon, so that you can start focusing on gearing other characters and making them better so that you can push with those characters. So that's what I use this build for, is to push solo so that I can gain more Paragon, level up my gems real high, that kind of stuff, so that I can make those other character classes that I was having a lot more trouble with more efficient. So anyways, let's do this 88, and I'm going to show you guys. I mean, I'm going to blow through it. So like I said, I cleared a 92 the other day solo, and I know I can push higher. I just haven't done it yet. So this is going to be fun, and I just want you guys to see how that goes. And also, I'm going to give you guys a little tip as we're going through, because a lot of people, they don't play this build right. They think that you're just supposed to jump from elite pack to elite pack and, you know, champion and champion. That is true in a sense, but you also want to kill some trash. You have to. It's going to help you push. Just trust me on this, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself having a hard time progressing in the higher, greater rifts, because you're going to be like, well, you know, I'm barely keeping up with the timer. So watch how I do this. It's going to be good. So we'll just get into it, and so you guys can see.
Embrace.
You don't want to clear all the trash, just a little bit of trash, like especially right here. You know, we got a nice little group. Let's go ahead and get them out of here, because that'll give us a little bit of progression. If you're playing solo, you want to stay in innocuous as much as you can. You get insane damage buff. See, that just gave us just a little bit of progression. Not much, but in the end, it makes a huge difference, I'm telling you. It really does. It'll save your day, and you'll be able to push higher, I promise. Especially when your COE rotates over to lightning, you'll just blow through the trash. But yes, you do want to jump from elite pack to elite pack. You do want to jump from champion to champion. Same sense, kill a little bit of trash along the way. You can't just skip all the trash, or you're gonna screw yourself. But don't stop for little packs like that right there. You want a big mob, you know, with some monster types that are going to give us decent progression on our bar. Especially when you run into a rift like this where you don't find any elites for a while. I mean, it's like you have to kill the trash, because what are you going to do? You're not going to make any progression, and you'll find yourself not being able to keep up with the timer. I just kill a little bit and I move. Kill a little bit and I move.
I'm still using.
And now we're here to our first champion, and we're going to take him out real quick. Kill a little bit of this right here just because it's in the way mostly. Now I'm gonna move. Got a little bit of trash right here. I'm gonna clear this just a little. Not much, just a little. I'm gonna move. And when you hit a power pylon, you definitely want to clear the trash, because you're just going to blow through them. And that'll help you get that extra progression. So if you are falling behind with that power pylon, just start clearing trash. For sure, for sure. That was a dead end. And as you guys can see, this is a very mobile build, so it is the easiest build to not only gear for, but progress with, especially with the Demon Hunter. Because the other builds, you know, you got Unhollowed grenades, you got Marauders grenades, you got M6 Grenader or whatever. And I like those builds. All those builds are a lot of fun, but you're not going to get the progression you're going to get on those builds that you get with this build right here. You're just not. And it sucks, you know. clear a little bit and just leave. See, our convention developments was on lighting. A lot of that trash just went real quick. Just clear a little bit, move. Don't spend too much time on the trash. That's the point of this. People hear that, oh, you just skip elite to elite, you know, and they think, oh, or you know, why am I not able to keep up with the time bar? Well, it's because you literally skipped every piece of trash in the rift. You can't do that. In a group, you know, you'll have your witch doctor take care of the trash, so it doesn't even matter. But in solo, you have to kill at least some of it. You know?
Not ready yet.
Remember to keep your vengeance up at all times. And these are always great, good old shield pylons. You can really just stand in there and get in their face with them and not have to worry about anything.
I'm still waiting.
See, in that sense, I knew that trash wasn't worth waiting for because I did have these elites down here.
Need more time.
I'm going to clear some of this because there's nothing in here. There's no elite. So there's one right there. These guys wandered in. That was nice. Before, I was having problems clearing 92, and I was like, why am I having so much trouble? You know, because the damage was there. The damage was there. I just was running out of time. And I was like, you know, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, the damage is there. I'm killing the things in plenty of amounts of time, but I'm just not getting the clear. And then I started doing this right here where I clear just a little bit of trash and move, and I would see my progress bar go up just a little every now and then, and it made the world of difference. I promise you it did. Oh, this guy's already almost dead. This build is insane on killing elites, man. It's really insane. Champs.
I need more time.
Whatever. All of them. They all just melt. See, that little bit of progress I just made right there is going to make the world of difference in the end. You may not think it at the time. You'll be like, there's no way that makes a difference. It does. I promise it does. Definitely want to pick up the globes whenever you can, especially if you're playing on console.
I'm still waiting.
Sometimes there's elites down here, and there's a little bit of trash. I'm just going to stand in the Oculus and clear a little bit of this. Making progress on the bar. It's going to save us in the end. the key to it is you don't want to stand there and fight them for like a long period of time. You know, just want to clear some of them and move. You don't want to get hung up on it. Progression. Don't literally just skip elite pack to elite pack. You'll find yourself in a bad situation when you're trying to push. I mean, you know, if you end up having 10 minutes left on the rift, then you're not really pushing, you know. So. You guys down.
The Rift Guardian.
Look at that. He's already here. And he's already almost dead.
You have triumphed.
Okay. So that was an 88. I finished with 4 minutes and 56 seconds left. Now the other day, when I did that 92, I finished with about a minute and 33 seconds, I believe, left. But you know, before that, I wasn't able to clear it. I was not. I couldn't figure out why, because the damage was there. And I got another crappy rift on it too. I started clearing out a little bit of trash and moving, not just skipping literally from elite pack to elite pack. And I was able to clear it. And now that I've kind of figured out this method on how to do this, I know that I can push much higher than where I'm at. I could probably do a 95 and 96 solo at the 969 Paragon that I am. I can't imagine where I'd be at if I had, you know, 1400 Paragon. I could be pushing 102, I believe, with this build. And higher augments, I mean, not all my augments are that high either. So, but anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment. And until next time, you know, have a good one. Thank you.